Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be taking you through my 5 top picks for the best open face helmets of 2026. Let's take a look. Now, to many people, the open face helmet is actually the epitome of a motorcycle helmet, and that's for good reason. Back in the day, nobody had heard of chin protection, and that is one of the major downsides to an open face helmet. There are quite a few positive sides, but the fact that the helmet offers the least possible protection is definitely something I have to mention and something you need to know. There are of course some other downsides. Open face helmets, well, the name kind of says it, they're open, so they're exposed to the elements. That means if you're riding in the rain or when it's very cold, it won't be as comfortable as riding with a modular helmet or of course a full face helmet. And of course another downside is that open face helmets are typically quite noisy as well. Now that all sounds a tad negative, but there are many positives when it comes to open face lids. One of which is that the helmets are typically cheaper than full face and modular helmets. One reason for this of course is that less material is used as the helmet completely lacks chin protection, and another reason for this is that these helmets typically have less features and less functionality. So the helmets are simpler and thus less can go wrong with them. They are also much lighter, which makes them more comfortable to wear on the bike and also off the bike when, for example, getting petrol. They obviously offer much better ventilation when riding in warm weather, and last but not least, that freedom feeling riding in an open face helmet is not like any other lid. But without further ado, let's take a look at the first one in the lineup. The Nolan N22, or as it is actually written, the N20-2 Visor. This one. Now Nolan's well known for making great value helmets, and this one is certainly no exception. It's a great value helmet with a really big visor, and not only does it have a really big outer visor, it also has a sun visor, which you can operate by pulling it down, which is usually frowned upon because it should be operated with the switch on the side, but with this one it's actually applauded and sometimes easier to do. So it's great that you've got both options for that, and it's great that it has the dual visors. Now this helmet is also prepared for an NCOM communication system, is fairly lightweight and has the typical Nolan fairly round head shape fit. Now ventilation wise, when you have the visor up, of course you'll have lots of cool air. When the visor is down, however, you have a ventilation inlet on the top which can lift up like so, and literally it does actually lift up, as you can see. So I really like that feature because when it's closed it actually hides in the shell and falls back down. Something else I like is that the helmet has a classic ring on the bottom so that you can lock it to your bike or scooter, and the helmet is of course very good for commuting, but it will also work very well on scooters and motor scooters. Next up is the Scorpion Belfast EVO carbon helmet, and the name already gives it away. The helmet has a carbon outer shell, making it a very strong but lightweight helmet, lighter than the other helmets in this lineup and lighter than the other helmets in general when it comes to open face lids. A very comfy helmet to wear. Now this helmet, I mean, it just screams retro, you know, it's such a classic look, even the interior, that lovely brown colour. Something actually, while I'm holding it upside down, something that's worth mentioning, it has a stainless steel ratchet over here, which is very nice. Often on helmets like this, we see a lot of plastic ratchets, like on the Nolan helmet, but with this one, I don't know, it just adds to the classic robust look and feel of the helmet. Now, although it's a comfortable helmet to wear with its intermediate oval leaning over to oval slightly more shape, it doesn't feel quite as comfortable as, for example, a Shoei or an Arai helmet. That being said, for the price, it's a very, very nice helmet indeed. It has an internal visor which has a slight tint, and it's just a really cool retro helmet. Obviously, touring wise, it won't be the best lid to ride with, but if you've got an old-fashioned bike or if you don't go on the motorway that much, it's going to be great, especially for in summer. What a great lid, and like I said, lightweight, so extremely comfy in that regard. This is the Arai SZ-R EVO helmet, and as with all Arai helmets, the things it does, the functionalities that it has, it does them all very well indeed. One of the first things you'll notice on this helmet is the ventilation, which is very extensive, so extensive in fact that it comes straight off the RX-7V helmet, which is a top class racing helmet. So you can choose to ride with the helmet in which configuration you prefer, vents open, closed at the front, at the back, but you even have vents on the top of the visor as well to let in cool air around the brow. Very nice feature. Now of course, as you see, the helmet has a large outer visor which helps protect you against the elements. It doesn't have an internal sun visor like on the Nolan helmet. Arai is well known for not doing that, as they believe it compromises the safety of the helmet. Now Arai helmets are all handmade, and they have a certain philosophy about the shape of the outer shell. It's supposed to glance off, that's what they call it, glance off an impact, and make sure that in the event of an accident that all parts such as the vents and such which are all stuck on should fly off, so that there are no snagging possibilities on the road with the helmet. Now the fit and shape of the helmet is quite specific. Yes, it is intermediate oval, but like I said, it's the specific Arai shape, and in my case I typically do wear an intermediate oval helmet, but the Arai helmets don't fit me as well as, for example, a Shoei helmet or a Scorpion or a HJC. Another thing is that this helmet is not necessarily one of the cheapest. In fact, it's one of the most expensive. That being said, Arai helmets, if well kept, will last a long time and are all quality helmets made in Japan. Next up is the Shoei J.O2, and this helmet kind of shines because of its simplicity really. Now this helmet has a very comfortable fit and fits most people very snugly. However, if it's not quite your cup of tea, we can customize the fit with the Shoei Personal Fitting System. Basically, this means that we measure your head in 4 different ways, input that data into Shoei's computer system, and then generate an adjustment that we can add to the helmet's lining, and thus making it completely different for your head. As with the other helmets in this lineup, you can add a comms unit to this helmet, but it's not specifically prepared for one system, and it might not be as comfortable as when installing one into a full face helmet, let's say. Now this helmet also comes with an internal visor, which is not a sun visor, it's a regular visor, which I personally like because if you have a dark visor you can't go out riding in the evening anyway. So this is always the basic, and if you want to get a dark visor or a different colour, of course you still can. And something I like about this visor is that there is an option to bring it down less. So if it comes down too far for your liking, or if it hits you on the nose, then there's always the option to move these pegs at the side, and if you do so, it will come down a little bit less. Nice feature, and like I said, it shines through its simplicity. Downside of this helmet is that for the simplicity you are paying quite a bit. Then again, just like with the Arai helmet, it is a handmade Japanese helmet that will last you a long time and is very comfortable to wear. And last but not least, the Schuberth J2. A strange looking but oddly satisfying open face helmet that has a chin bar. If we lift the visor, which is very smooth, you will see at the bottom here that there is a chin bar installed on this helmet. Now you can use this to equip a chin curtain, which is a nice feature because that will protect you from the elements just a little bit more. And this chin bar is not actually protective. It might do something, but it's not certified as a full face helmet. So what you do is you lift up these sliders at the side, then lift up the chin bar, and you can just lift it out of place and remove it, put it under your seat or in your bag or whatever, and then you do have a proper open face helmet. Now, as I already mentioned, it has a large visor. It also has a sun visor that can be operated on the left-hand side. If it comes down too far, you can flick the switch to one side and the visor will come down just a little bit less. Now, of course, the helmet also has some ventilation, which is nice if you've got the visor down, but the really special thing about this helmet is that it is prepared for the SC2 comms systems. Now, you can choose if you want a Cerner system or a Cardo system, which in itself is quite special and quite unique, but the fact that everything else is already pre-installed in the helmet, such as the speakers and the wiring, makes it a very unique plug-and-play experience. A very nice helmet to wear, very comfortable. The only problem is, if there is a problem with the comm system at some point, it is possible that you'll have to ship off the complete helmet to get it checked, whereas with a helmet where you have to install everything yourself, that's obviously not the case. Now, in my opinion, this helmet could be the one out of the lineup with the best functionality and the most all-round features. But then again, you as the rider have to decide that for yourself, and for you, maybe all those extra features and functionality could just be frills that you don't actually need. Well, that pretty much wraps it all up, so thank you very much indeed for watching this video. I hope that it gives you a better idea of which of these helmets could or possibly could not be the best one for you. If you do have any questions left in your mind, drop them in the comment sections below and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and of course subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you never miss any of our future content. If you want to check out these lids and all the other ones, head to photomoto.com where you will find the different colours, prices, and of course we ship worldwide. So thanks again for watching, we hope to see you next time, but for now, cheerio.